So the point that I'm trying to arrive at is that even if we take utility theory only as a tool, ignoring its foundations, even then the conclusions that we get are not in conformity with the Maqasid al-Sharia, so we'll have to rethink. So since tools give results contradicting to the desired Islamic behavior, the tool may not be useful for constructing the Islamic economy. And we have to go back and look at the theory afresh. Now, what are the possibilities? In the 2007, the most recent Journal of Review of the Journal of King Abdulaziz University, when Fahim Khan commented on Asad Zaman's paper, he brought about 3 or 4 different approaches that are available within the conventional economics that can be used or which can be explored, which he is saying as heterodox economics, not the utility-based economics. One of them is complexity approach, another is altruistic approach, another is altruistic approach, and some other approaches. I have with me these articles are available on the net from the Journal of Islamic Economics at King Abdulaziz University, and you can download it. And let me the 5 approaches that Dr. Fahim Khan talks about is post-autistic economics, complexity economics, evolutionary economics, new institutional economics, and sustainable development economics, which have some seeds which do not utilize utility theory as such, or which try to bring in concerns of the others into the modeling. Maybe this approach may be able to help us in developing models in micro and macro, which will be more closer to the maqasid of Sharia. As opposed to that, Dr. Asad Zaman's approach, that's the paper which initiated these comments and a rejoinder from him, is basically that he doesn't bring out a specific approach that can help us in prediction, but he brings out the anomalies or contrast between the conventional and what economic teachings are about. And given these anomalies, his conclusion is that we need to have a separate approach. Now, before I conclude, let me give my own thinking on how the subject can be approached in future. Can you switch back to the camera? We have seen discussion of Maqasid al-Sharia. Maqasid al-Sharia is basically a legal, or conceived in legal framework, that how to protect. What are the legal the legal injunctions in Islam? What are the teachings in Islam are about? How do they serve the society? So Maqasid approach is basically protecting things. This is not necessarily enhancing. So, but as a first step, we can start with Maqasid approach. In the 6th International Conference on Islamic Economics, there were 2 papers on methodology of Islamic economics. One by Masood al-Alam Chaudhry, and another by Walid Ansari. I like the approach of Walid Ansari. His conclusion was that Islamic economic, the utility approach is a mono-utility function, is a mono-dimensional approach in which there are many arguments in the utility function and you try to come up with one number that will summarize that. As opposed to that, Islamic teachings or Islamic objectives are multifold. There are many objectives that Islam would like to achieve. Therefore, the mono-utility function approach will not be sufficient, will not be of any help. We have to think in terms of multi-dimensional approaches. And he talks about quantum approach, which I don't understand how he is talking about that, but I got an idea from that presentation and the presentation on Maqasid by Chapra, that usually our scholars have talked about the 5 main maqasid of Sharia, that is protection of life, protection of nasl, protection of mal, protection of faith, and protection of self, or what they call self-respect, or protection of intellect. So if these are the 5 maqasid of Sharia, we can think of defining a 5-dimensional utility. Instead of trying to summarize everything into one unit, a util, and then trying to compare which thing maximizes what, we can think about a 5-dimensional, multi-dimensional approach of multi-dimensional utility. And within that, the question of the priorities of tahsiniyat, zururiyat, tahsiniyat, and hajiyat, etc. can be addressed. So this is one thought that has come to mind. There is nothing that I can offer at this point that this is how this is the exact way in which we can model this, but this is one way certainly that in which we can approach this. Whether my lecture benefited you or not, I don't know, but this assignment benefited me very much, because for last 2-3 days I was able to read through many papers again, and some of the papers afresh, so that in future I will be able to contribute something, but not now. I open the floor right now for your discussions, and if Dr. Sayyid Tahir and Asad Zaman are available at IIIE, and if Professor Saifuddin Tajuddin is available at Mahi, I will appreciate their comments, and I will appreciate that they come in the debate and engage students how to go about modeling micro and macroeconomics. Thank you. I will give the mic to International Islamic University Islamabad first to start, say something on
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Brother Dr. Salman Sayyid Ali, you have pointed out that there are differences in methodology of Islamic economics, and there is almost consensus in the context of outlines of Islamic economics. So can you highlight the main differences in the different methodological approaches in the discipline of Islamic economics? This is one question. And the other question is that can we use the concept of interdependent utility functions to build the Islamic consumer theory, and then to reflect the Maqasid al-Sharia in that way, and then to develop the macro foundations for the Islamic economy? Thank you.
I repeat my question again. Is Professor Sayyid Tahir and Asad Zaman available there?
Dr. Sayyid Tahir is in the class We have sent him a message. If he could come, he will be participating. Dr. Asad is not around.
Again, I would like to ask you to, after this lecture, whenever you have time, you go to Journal of King Abdulaziz University, Islamic Economics, Volume 20, published in 2007, towards a new paradigm for economics. Comments on this. Starting from page 57 and going to page 82. So in these pages, a good debate has taken place between 5 scholars on what should be the methodology, how we should go forward. And this also answers the question that is just raised by Iqbal Anjum from IIIE, that whether whether interdependent utility functions can be used. They can be used, but the issue is that how far we can go. How far we can go adopting any approach will take a lot of investment of time and energy. It is not just that as you can see that a lecture cannot be prepared after reading 4 or 5 days. You have to be in the field. As you can see that what I presented is just a summary, and I don't know whether it contributed to understanding of a person who has already who has not seen any of the Islamic economics literature before. I'm sure it has not contributed. If it at all it has contributed, it may have contributed only to those who have gone through these papers and would like to debate on those issues. Similarly, if you want to build a model based on interdependent utility function, it will be an investment on your part of time and energy. So before making that investment, it is better to survey and think that and to look around that what other approaches are available that I can look for which will better serve, rather so that we put our investment of time and energy in a more appropriate manner. From that point of view, I think that bringing in interdependent utility functions will not take us very far, because no matter wherever we go, first of all, this interdependence will have to be modeled first, and the utility function or the results will depend upon the structure of the model. They will not be very general. There is another idea that came some time ago, but nobody has picked it up, and I'm just throwing it off over here, so that maybe some students who have energies and time, they can devote, or they can think on those issues. There are models in the literature based on forgetful consumer, a consumer who forgets, like myself, many things. He goes to a shop, finds the price and the commodities available. The information is not perfect, so he has to make his information perfect by surveying the market. He goes to a shop, collects the information available on prices and the varieties available, and then he goes to other shop, gets the price over there and sees the varieties that are available over there. But by that time, he forgets what was the price quoted in the previous shop. So how he should make decision in that context? How a forgetful consumer should make decision. This is an interesting decision-making problem from a decision-making point of view. But what is the point in Islamic economics for such, how we can build on that? If we look at a human behavior, when he is more conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he is more conscious of al-akhirah, he may be behaving in a certain manner. But when he forgets this, and the worldly things influence him more, then he starts behaving in another manner. So as if within a person there resides two different two states of mind, or two personalities, or two states of mind, that on one occasion he is making decisions with one mindset, and in another occasion he is making decisions with another mindset, and that's why the decisions are different. And that's what we see in our daily life all the time. And that is what we saw in the life of the Sahaba as well. That, for example, one Sahabi said that oh, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when we are in your company, we talk to you, we see that as if Jannah and Jahannam are just very near. We can see them. But when we return back to our families and we engage in our worldly affairs, we forgot. So are we true Muslims or munafiq? So Prophet ﷺ said that if you can retain the same state all the time as you are in the state of mind when you are with me, then Malaika will come and shake hands with you, because this is not possible for a human being. Mental state changes. So can we model, using that thing, can we think of models in which there is a model of perfect Islamic consumer and there is a model of perfect a worldly consumer? And in reality, a consumer mental state shifts between the two, and so his behavior can be modeled as a random fluctuation or some systematic fluctuation between these two states. More muttaqi a person is, more conscious a person is, more often he will be in the state of Iman, and less often he will be in the state of worldly affairs, and so on and so forth. So this is one kind of models that can be built. But the model that I think will have can give more the model which has more future or more prospects is either based on complexity theory or based on some agent based decision making, because over there we will not be assuming any we will not be putting any structure of the utility, that whether the person is satiable or not, whether how much information the person has. We can model these things in very simple way, and the aggregate behavior will, aggregate modeling will, or aggregate interaction between the agents will bring up an aggregate behavior. So this way of modeling will be good for modeling a aggregate behavior through micro foundations, where you can build micro foundation based on Islamic principles, and build in some un-Islamic principles as well as deviation, and see what happens in repeated interactions of agent-based models. So this is my feeling. Professor Saifuddin Tajuddin is not there in Mahi. I'm giving the turn to UK to ask question, or if Professor Saifuddin Tajuddin is available, I want him to come into the